How to spot an impostor or a charlatan. In 1948, the psychologist Bertram Forer made an unusual and surprising experiment. First and foremost, he used astrology columns from a wide range of magazines. He then gave his pupils, meaning his students, to read and rate themselves after their own assessment. Well, here is the experiment. It may surprise you. Dear listener or watcher, you yourself you can go through. I know you personally, and here is the way I will describe and characterize you. You greatly like to be appreciated and liked by people. You have a propensity to self-critical with yourself. You have an enormous reservoir of unused capacity which you have not yet mined to your own advantage. You have some personality weaknesses which you can generally overcompensate for them. From outside, you are self-control and self-discipline. From the inside, you tend to worry and feel insecure. Sometimes you doubt whether you made the right decision. You like change and become unsatisfied when hindered by obstacles. You like the fact that you are an independent thinker and do not swallow whatever is purported to you without evidence and facts. You find unwise to reveal yourself, to completely expose yourself to people. There are moments where you are sociable, meaning extroverted, and moments where you are introvert. Your thoughts are always about the hope of a better life, the future glory of your name, the fly of the illness of this life, the future worth of your children. Some of your aspirations are sometimes unrealistic. Key question: do you recognize yourself within these lines? In the scale of 1 to 10, how will you rate yourself? Please, dear listener, just stop and rate yourself. Here, 1, you score poorly. 10, you score perfection. When the student rated themselves by 9.3 of 10, so the total accuracy was 86%. The experiment was repeated over decades and decades, and the result turned out to be closely the same. Meaning, most students always rate themselves by 9.3 of 10. Now, I myself, Jerome Gassa, I bet you rate yourself by 9 or 10. 2. Most people tend to identify themselves in such universal description, right? Science calls this the Forer effects. By the way, the Forer effects explain why pseudoscience such as astrology, astrotherapy, handwriting, analysis, tarot cards work. What is really behind the Forer effects is that the majority of the statements are too general. I'm giving you now the trick, and therefore apply to any one of us. Any one of us is proud for being an independent thinker. Who isn't? Who likes to be seen to be seen himself or herself as a dance follower? Nobody, as long as I know. The second thing that the Forer effect bring in front of our eyes is the future positive effect. Yes, the future positive effect plays a large role. Yes, indeed. Reread and re-listen. You will spot that the text contains no negative statement. It stated only what we are and did not include what we are not. just as reading a heavy recipe of salad which omit to include the rate of cholesterol in the oil dressing, right? That's what you see in different stocks, right? They always write you the benefit, but never the disadvantage, so that you can read yourself and know how to adjust your decision, right? They just write what they want, and the dark side is hidden. As they said, the dark side of the moon is hard to be seen. The third and the most important one is what I call the confirmation bias, which is nothing more than taking seriously what you see and not taking seriously what you don't see, which goes back even to the future positive effect. Yeah, what I mean here is taking seriously who we are in this context, which correspond to our self-image, and unconsciously filter out who we are not. By the way, this is what is used by most consultants, experts, decision makers, policy makers who are making decisions under uncertainty. Let me repeat this. I'm not saying here in the world of certainty. Knowledge is certainty, right? I'm talking about making decisions in a world of uncertainty. And guess what? We live in a world that has become increasingly more uncertain. Why? Due to globalization and internet. There is a high rate of unpredictability and a high decrease of predictability, which means the past doesn't predict the future anymore. Obviously, the past is important, and we can learn from it. In other words, it is like if a glass of beer broke in the past, that means it is breakable. But if it has never broke itself in the past, we cannot assert that it is unbreakable, right? In other words, the past doesn't, in this case, doesn't predict the future. Just because it never went broke in the past doesn't imply tomorrow it won't be, right? Just to make a little bit clarity in it. Now, I'll give you a practical example of what I'm saying about this. Let's say if you take, for example, by the way, I would recommend you to listen How to Become Multi-Millionaire. There is an episode that was made by me. Please just check out. I will recommend you. It's very important. You take a lot of insight. If you take, for example, How to Become Multi-Millionaire, you see 9 out of 10 of the time, people will feature, they will just give you the future positive effect. They will say, you must work hard, you must be risk loving. These are prerequisite conditions in order to achieve a high status in life. But they are not sufficient. Why? Because just look at the symmetry of silent evidence. Take the bankrupt people. You see that they share the same trait. Meaning they are hardworking people, they are risk-loving people, but they did not make it. You see my point now? In another, the same trait cannot explain the same thing. The winners are seen; these are the visible, and we tend always to forget the losers who have the same traits. Remember, I said again, and I'll repeat it again. It is a prerequisite condition, meaning it is necessary to have skills and take risks, but that doesn't explain the fact that people become multi-millionaire. My point here is just to give you a straight answer. A system with small mistake doesn't have that ratio of silent evidence, meaning a person who is skillful at what he is doing and have a risk appetite, but his mistakes are always small, since he will capitalize on his mistakes, the ratio of bankruptcy would be extremely very small, which means he won't go bankrupt or he won't achieve his goal, right? This is the subtle difference that you cannot find in standard books out there. This is something to be taught by discretion. This is the reason why optionality profit has been founded by me to help people navigate this world of uncertainty. Why? Because of the rise of complexity, we are more prone to errors, right? Now, since we are in an environment where we can make errors, we are also in an environment where we can benefit from these errors. This is the reason why we are here. Okay, let us keep going, guys. Second example, if you take a look at the profit and loss, clearly shows that saving can be made. This is what consultant will be telling you. Or we advise company to focus on emerging economies to secure future market share. Sound right, no? How will you rate the prowess of such a guru? They are giving you basically what I call the future positive effect, combined with the confirmation bias, which is nothing more than taking seriously what you see and not taking seriously what you don't see, right? This is very counterintuitive. Okay, the kernel point of my thoughts and big takeaway are the following. 3 big ideas. First and foremost, an impostor or a charlatan is someone who conflates mistake for absence of risk. Let me repeat again. A charlatan or an impostor, the best way to detect them is they conflate benefit for absence of risk. They'll be telling you are going to gain this, you'll get this, you'll get it, but they are forgetting risk. It is like just as discussing growth without concern for fragility. It will be like studying construction without thinking of collapses. Yeah? My main point here is think like an engineer. An engineer focus on robustness and not like an economist, because economists, most experts out there are always focused on prediction. In another word, we give you certainty, but remember, as I said way back before, randomness doesn't look random, right? This is very important. Uncertainty doesn't look uncertain. And Warren Buffett put it very well this way. In order to succeed, you must first survive. Most people don't have that as part of their consciousness. In order to succeed, you must first survive. People tend to forget this logical precedency. Yeah? If you can survive, you can make it. That's the first idea. The second big idea is that a charlatan is always giving you a recipe of what to do and never what not to do, or if you want, what to avoid. Forgetting that we live long by not dying, which goes back to the first one that I said. Right? To the first big idea that I just gave. Right? You live long by not dying. Right? In another word, if you are able to survive, you live long. But most people don't get that. Just as Warren Buffett said it. In order to succeed, you must first survive, guys. And third big idea, the tragedy of our time is the monoculture of ideas. All people are forced to believe the same errors. By the way, it takes a lot of self-confidence and intellect to recognize that what makes sense really doesn't make sense. Take for example, most books and scientific papers out there which become bestsellers and published in the best media outlet out there aren't due to their validity or relevancy, but to social contagion via marketing and sensationalization, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say take 50, let's say you are working in a subject or a program that you choose. You take 50 authors. Out of the 50 authors, you read the 50 and you select 3, right? You read about you read about it and you quote them in your article or in your program that you are creating, and then now a second person come and read you. Yeah, when he read you, he realized that you quoted these 3 authors. What he does, he quote them also. A sort of, I quote you, you quote me continuously. Now, when he quote you, when he quote the 3 authors that you previously quoted out of the 50, which is now in his work, let's say a third person come and read the work of the second person. He sees the name of these 3 authors who have worked in that field. He quote them also in his work. What happened? With cumulative advantage, these authors will end up having what we call social contagion. There will be information cascade. And since we live in a world that is globalized, they will benefit from what we call the winner take all effect. Now, the key question you should ask in your mind is, what is the difference between these 3 who came out of the 50? And by the way, the 50 at the beginning, we just say in our mind they have the same skills of writing scientific discovery or articles. What is the difference between them? The only and unique difference is pure luck. That's it. Remember, at the beginning they all have the same skills, but 3 will make it. You see, because you quote me, I quote you, and continuously. And this is what we call information cascade via social contagion and marketing and sensationalization. And the best way to do this is, let's say, to be able to become like that, is to produce a lot of, let's say, scientific papers or books out there. You are sure, as long as you keep trying that, trust me, even if I am completely stupid or idiot, I'll end up hitting the bullseye. That's it. Right, guys? Thank you, guys. It was an honor to serve you as always. And tomorrow I will release 3 episodes which will be sensational, which will be very important for you in your business, of how to handle uncertainty, and by building a system where mistake can occur without threatening the system, but most importantly, use as fuel for improvement. Right, guys? Welcome to the world of uncertainty and how to handle it. It was an honor to serve you. Thank you. If you love these ideas, please take it, share it, use it immediately, and secondly, share it with you. Apply this gemstone on a continuous basis in your life. Not only you experience and feel, be in charge of your life, and most importantly, you start also to feel what we call a duty life. You are a magnificent. Hey friends, it's Jerome. I hope you enjoy this episode. Do to both of us 2 favors. Number 1, please subscribe in this channel by clicking the red button subscribe. So by joining me, you continue to get update every time I release a new training for you. Second, if you want to increase your productivity by 50% every single week, yes, you heard it right, a 50% increase of your productivity every single week, and want to achieve your goals, your dream, in a much faster and easier and simpler way, you and I know it requires a new thinking, a new paradigm shift, a new set of ritual, a new set of habit, a new set of pattern. So your entire approach must be based on convex experimentation. In order to make that possible, just go ahead and click the link below. It is optionality profit, and download this guide for free. This guide I use to achieve all my big goals. I'm still using them, and my highest paid clients are the ones using it today. Just tell me your name and your email. I am happy to email you right away, free. Thank you for tuning in again. Until I see you next time, make a difference like a magnificent. Thank you guys. Loved ones.